My name is Viktoriya Tigipko. I'm the founding partner of TA Ventures, the global early stage VC. We are investing in the European, US, Latin American, Asian startups since 2010. Currently, we have 230 companies in our portfolio. We have 6 IPOs, 11 unicorns, 12 unicorns, and growing, right? So currently, we are at the TA Ventures 3. We have a very special model, which is hard to understand for a majority of the institutional investors. So that's why we never had money from any of institutional investors. We are raising like 20, 30 million per 2 years on a constant basis and investing in 50 companies per year, right? Majority is in US, 60%, 20% Europe, and 20% Latin America and Southeast Asia. So why venture capital? Why venture asset class? It's actually interesting now because at least this is the business where you can control what the companies are doing. So we understand what they are doing. We would like to support these companies. We like venture. We know what they are doing on a monthly basis from pre-seed to A, and then maybe once per quarter. So we are in a close connection with all the founders, which is not easy. And we are like classical first or second co-investor in the pre-seed or seed rounds. So the situation is not easy this year. Last year was not easy as well, and the next couple of years will not be easy for the startup ecosystem generally. So why? Because now we are switching the focus from what is good to have or what is like great to have to building the companies in the framework of what is really needed. Exactly what are you going and ready to pay the money for. So that's why a lot of companies basically will not be able to raise money this year, next years. Only those who really make a change, really make a dramatic or important change in speed of the execution, in providing the services which are needed for the global community. The services and the goods should be transparent, sustainable, etc., and solving real problems for solving these problems, each of us and the corporates and the businesses are ready to pay, right? So, but still, I mean, there is a lot of dry powder in the pre-seed and seed venture capital firms globally, especially in US and Europe, for good companies, for companies which can deliver, for companies which have a clear path to profitability, for the companies who are controlling their KPIs and metrics, which are the most important moments for the startup ecosystem generally today. Yeah, so in our portfolio, we have, as I said, 11 unicorns. They're here listed, and we have two IPOs which will happen in the next couple of years. It is SumUp and DeepL, and one more IPO which will be happening also in 26. I would say it's our June Stone company. I just arrived from New York today in the morning, so meeting with them. It's an amazing opportunities which are appearing in the real estate tech business now. But for those who will be interested, we can talk after the presentation, after our panel later on. So, I mean, getting to our business in venture capital is not easy, right? The money is like multiplying 10x in 10 years. The most important value in venture capital is clearly the expertise. And we have more than 3,000 co-investors in our 230 portfolio companies now, and with a network exceeding 30,000 warm contacts. So basically the value of the pre-seed and seed investor is not only the money. So a lot of venture tourists will lose their job and opportunities now. So the value of the venture investor is just sharing their network, sharing their laser-focused network, which can help startups to raise money on the later rounds. So in our experience, we used to help the startups from pre-seed to seed to raise from hundreds of thousands to hundreds of millions. I mean, and this is like a special skill for early investors to have this. I mean, to help, to babysit, to help with the network, and to be there, right, from pre-seed to Series A. Yeah, so this is our metrics, what we've done so far since T Ventures 1. As I said, now we are at T Ventures 3. And the similar model, actually, similar to ours, is if you know the company, the venture fund Tiny VC or FJ Lab, and they apply the similar model. They do not lead, and it's hard to lead for the venture fund which started in Ukraine. And we are very much interested in Ukraine, especially finding the models which fall into our categories. And we invest extensively in digital health, biotech, deep tech. Under the deep tech, our major sub-verticals are cybersecurity, infrastructure optimization software, and robotics software. The whole team is living like everywhere, basically between US, Europe, and Asia. And it's important to understand when you are at early venture and you have to feel the company vibe. I mean, you have to meet the founders personally. So that's what we do. That's why everybody is traveling. Yeah, that is our team. Actually, one of our partners, venture partner Evelyn, now will be the managing director, the only managing director of the D3 fund, started by Eric Schmidt, and the huge names like David Fialka, Reid Hoffman, Jobs family, and Lopes family, and others will be supporting and investing in this first 100 million fund to support dual-use military tech startups from Ukraine, or doing the business in Ukraine. So this is also an interesting angle of our activity. Also myself, I'm just for the records, also I'm the chairperson of the Ukrainian Startup Fund, and our legal team helped to build the legislation for the Ukrainian Startup Fund. And the Ukrainian Startup Fund started the Brave One for dual-use military tech startups. So for all of you, if you know any interesting startups in that subsector, please let us know. So we have early grants from Ukrainian Startup Fund from 50,000 and onwards, and later stage investments from D3 and other interested parties from venture capital to support that special move connected with the Ukraine. Yeah, so this is our investments. So just, it's hard to get out clearly from the venture business because, it's so addictive, right? So when you are screening 5,000 companies per year, that's what we are doing with our team of 25 investment professionals. It's hard to get out. Yeah, it's 50 companies per year to invest, to close the deals, to babysit the companies, to be helpful. It's a very special skill. It's kind of different from the growth stage. And if you're seeing the sentiment in the venture business currently, the lot of growth stage funds, top 10 European, US, and global funds, they're very much interested now to spray and seed pre-seed stage, because then you have the opportunity to invest on the later stages. And here we cope really successfully with the top tier US and European and global funds on that. So this slide is showing you how the trends actually were changing from 2010 to 2015. And later on, so what we are doing now, this is our major focus, because that's exactly these verticals which are developing, and it's multi-billion, $100 billion opportunities in the next 5 to 10 years. So this is how the verticals migrated within our structure of TA Ventures since 2010. Yeah, so let's start from the verticals which are there and clear to everybody of us. So the way we live changing dramatically. So next our speaker will be company Gropius. Brent will explain the model of Gropius. Basically, it's Tesla for construction. And there are other players in the market. You can get your home in a couple of weeks now, so which was completely impossible 10 years ago. You can get your home anywhere you want for any time you want, and this is just the beginning. So, and also all these projects are sustainable. The projects which are comply with the CO2 regulations, ESG regulations, and they're using the newest new materials, and it's easy to have it, and it's easy to rent or to own or whatsoever. So this is a new way of living. Yeah, so I will not just getting the eating your bread. So you will tell more about our project together with Gropius in the frameworks of Rebuild Ukraine. We started the organization, a charity platform based around data, One Ukraine. Julia, our MD from Berlin, is present here with a number of very famous investors, founders of startups, European names, and The goal is to rebuild Ukraine with the newest new technologies like Gropius, like others, and to help also to manage the track of mental health, which is like huge problem in Ukraine now. It's like huge problem, and Julia will tell you later. So how are we doing that, and how we are coping with the different organizations, international organizations from US and Europe to do that easier and quicker. So how you move around, it's also like an interesting vertical. We used to invest in the logistics software. We never invested in Uber or Lyft because, I mean, clearly the companies which are not profitable, and it's very hard, I mean, to compete at that market because, I mean, the companies basically killing each other, not coordinating the efforts, and there are a lot of regulations which are so old school and need to be updated in order to make this business work, but this is another conversation. So in the frameworks of TA Ventures, we never invested in the cash-intensive businesses like that, mostly being focused on talent and tech-intensive businesses like building the software, investing in the software, top-notch software teams, supporting their logistics. This is a huge business also. Then, I mean, these are other companies from our portfolio which are servicing this subsector, which was like our one of the core within the last 5 years. Yeah. So regarding the how we live online, how we invest, and what like all the crypto ecosystem. Yeah. So basically, after this FTX and what happened, and we are still like digesting the consequences of new era of regulations in crypto. I mean, we have to be very cautious. I mean, there are a lot of scammers, a lot of problematic businesses which pretend they are doing something like different, but they are not. And we have several partners, venture partners within the frameworks of TA Ventures. You've seen previously we have 12 investments in that space, and really cautious doing those investments. Mostly is DeFi, and another sector which is interesting for us is blockchain games. So where we are seeing them interesting like opportunities. Generally speaking about the market of Web3, I mean, it's basically like continuation of Web2, our main verticals, which we succeeded supporting, investing in Web2 since 2010. We are open to invest in the companies which are like doing like a continuation in the Web3, adding this special layer. These are our 12 investments in Web3 space. Happy to share this presentation for those interested later on. Okay, so regarding the cybersecurity, clearly with the situation which we have in Ukraine now, war, Ukraine, Russia, we see like a huge, enormous necessity and opportunities to invest heavily in cybersecurity space. We have 4 investments, and we would like to expand in the cybersecurity space. I mean, 2 trillion, it might be even the small figure, which will be growing tremendously in the next 5-10 years. I mean, also seeing about the possible disruption of the cybersecurity space within quantum computing. I mean, but this is another separate topic. There are a lot to do. This is our major investments in cybersecurity space in TA Ventures. Yeah, so another big like a subsector which might be disrupted, and we are seeing a lot of interesting startups changing the way we live and way we work on remote, appearing constantly. More than 70% of the people are living on remote now, and the major corporation, they basically agreed not only to offer the remote work from their geographies, but also offering the opportunity for the management, and not only management, for the employees to work from other different geographies. So this is completely changing the way we'd like to iterate online. I mean, Zoom is kind of boring, but we are still using it, and appearing a lot of interesting startups like these ones in our portfolio, which are servicing specifically the sector of remote work. Another huge sector for venture capital and for the business is the way, I mean, how to manage the greenhouse emission. So 14.5%, unfortunately, this is because of the livestock and everything connected with the livestock. And we are talking not only about the like human kind of approach to animals and how we like treat that. Unfortunately, the figures are not there yet. I mean, less than a couple of percent, like 2% of the people switch to be vegan, switch to using like lab-grown meat, proteins, etc. But we are slowly but surely moving there. So personally, for myself, this is my target for this year to switch. I'm still waiting for the meat from Memphis Meat. They started to build their big enterprise in Saudi Arabia. Hopefully, we'll see on our in our shops their product. I tried it; it's amazing, but I want to buy it. Yeah, so that's. Maybe for me it's easier because I live between US, Europe, and Asia. It's harder for other geographies which are not yet in the market for Memphis meat as of for the next couple of years. So it's huge business actually. So we invested in company Perfect Day, which produced the lab-grown milk, lab-grown protein for milk, and it's easy to order these brands. Actually, ice cream is not yet available, but we tried it on the presentations. It's amazing. You will not understand the difference at all. It's the brand Bored Cow, and the milk is amazing also. The milk, different types of milk. So for those who have lactose allergies or whatever, so that's the best way. I mean, you don't consume any antibiotics, you don't consume any like special medications used in the food industry. I mean, this is the way how the world will be developing in the next 10 years. Yeah, and yeah, another huge problem and also untapped opportunity in Europe and US is also treatment of obesity. I mean, the figures are crazy. I mean, 2/3 of Americans have obesity, 1 of 10 have eating disorder, and neither of American. I mean, we made a lot of like research. They don't even know that by insurance companies, their 20 visits to the nutritionists are covered by insurance. So in all these like sub-verticals or whatever is covered by insurance but not yet known to the end users, this is a huge opportunity for the businesses in US specifically and also in Europe. Company Berry Street is managing this and really like collecting the data. Basically, all the companies in the digital health, biotech subsectors, I mean, they are using the data. And those who will be somehow connected with the real life and using the new opportunities with the ChatGPT or opportunity to digest and use the big data and analyze the data, they will win. So, but the connection with the real life should be there. So if you just see the figures, how much we spend in US and Europe for the healthcare, and I will give you just one example. So we are considering now one investment on the company who is analyzing with the AI the spinal problems. So one OP covered by insurance with the 3 stitches in the spine, it costed to the insurance company $750,000 US, and the doctor who was performing the operation, the doctor got $3,500. I mean, it's just one example, but more than 50% of operations on the spinal cord should not be done, right? And because of the absence of the quality analysis based on data, I mean, unfortunately it's happening. So just imagine how much money, trillions, we are speaking about trillions, can be redirected to other more important ways to apply this uselessly used resources. The same actually situation is in Europe. Yeah, so basically the next 5-10 years, it's all about the data collection, it's all about the use of AI, like ChatGPT and others, personalization of drugs, personalization of the treatments, because we cannot treat with one pill, all of us with one, like even Advil or whatever. It's not for everybody, clearly, but we don't know that. right? And unfortunately, the data is lacking. So we are not tracking and collecting the data starting from, let's say, even 3, 5, 10 years ago. So now we adjusted the process of collecting proper data, structure the data, and creating this like 3D doctors or AI doctors, which are already now are overperforming the best radiologists, best doctors in the very niche verticals of digital health. That's the reality. These are a couple of examples of the company from our portfolio. Another big like vertical for future investments is clearly the mental health. I mean, more than 60% of the people suffering that. I mean, I'm not talking about Ukraine, where it's like majority of the population, so it's hard to rebuild the country without rebuilding the brains, right? So that's what we are doing also. A couple of companies which are our unicorns, like almost like billion-dollar companies, Elmi, Happify, and we are still like checking and we'll be investing really soon in a couple of other in that specific sector. I mean, that's the way it's going. And a lot of research. I mean, for those who are interested just to like get to the public research databases, please, I strongly advise you to tap into the topic, go to the PubMed and read a lot of interesting research on these specific topics. Another big issue is the way we shop. I mean, the Q-commerce is losing their position, so it's losing like 30% comparing with the last year. I mean, that's something we should not support definitely, because the quick commerce, it leads to 60% of the goods produced every year, they are destroyed. And this is something we should not work like that in the future. Currently, the online retail is not that big. We are thinking that it's that big, but unfortunately, it's not. It's less than 20%, but it will be growing. Will be growing, and the new generation is choosing like different type of like how you would like to live. Let's say this new company, Katy Perry is actually the one of the co-founder. I mean, it's the best way for the females, because the majority of the females in US, like more than 60%, they don't want to drink, right? And they want to have like party with the, let's say, something which will bring you to the active mood with on the base of the adaptogens. And this is this brand, this one. Unfortunately, you can buy it only in US now, but it's just the beginning. So if you see the figures of research on the consumers, I mean, majority of us would like to consume sustainable products, and that is a new rethinking of the new D2C brands which are appearing now, and the brands which we are supporting, and especially like for the females. Yeah. So these are a couple of sustainable brands, just for your information. For example, the company, we have in our portfolio like Attitude. They are producing all the bed linen, everything just from the bamboo, which is growing 4 months only. And because of the problems and like tension, I would say, between US and China in terms of the logistics, supply chain, and other like clear issues, I mean, they had to start to grow bamboo in US, and it's growing. 4 months, I mean, it's growing, so that's okay. So you can do that. Another company which might be also interesting for you is like Sheep. They have the lab in Germany which produce the lab-grown wool. So basically, in the future, you should not use like real wool, but just to move to the lab-grown wool. So basically, you can buy one sweater and dye the sweater in 200 years, hopefully, with a with the biotech. Yeah, but it's really a very cool tech. So growing even the wool, right? In the future, we have another problem, how to help the animals to get rid of this wool, right? So this is RNA, vaccines, etc. This is another big topic in the biotech and the pharma, how to like manage like what we've done with the breeding these poor animals to produce this wool, right? Okay, so this, as I mentioned already, like 60% of the clothes are destroyed. Just imagine the figures. I mean, how much, like hundreds of billions and trillions we are destroying every year. And I think that the call to action for everybody is just to mind your purchase. I mean, do like you have to approach the purchase smartly and don't buy. Like, why? Ask yourself this 3 why I'm buying this. It will be much better, and you will save the world much quicker than like other like political initiatives, etc., etc. So just by doing that. Yeah, so sustainability and the second life of clothes, bags, etc., etc. These are the companies from our portfolio. Rebag is also almost like unicorn, and Mirta. So I mean, just check which brands and what are you buying and why. If you are still buying, you need something better to buy and support the sustainable D2C brand, where you know the founder, where you know the sustainability profile of the business. And yeah, mind that basically. Yeah, regarding the online education, so understanding so what is happening now with the quality of the teachers, like quality of the education, like from primary to universities, and this is a big problem for the majority of the countries which basically do not have the access to the quality education at all. So online will be growing, and still it's the opportunity to get the Ivy League courses online was not like open like 5 years ago. So what is happening now is an opportunity just to be on the edge of the newest new things with the best like teachers, with the best professors online. And the majority of these courses actually are offered for free, I mean, especially for the females. So these are just a couple of examples of the free universities, free online courses. There is 500 courses were released by Ivy League recently, and a lot of opportunities just for the female which would like to grow and do not like pay and invest into the MBA, online MBAs or different like specialized courses. This is a very new, interesting opportunity. Yeah, regarding the financial management and the banking, etc. So neobanks, we are speaking a lot about neobanks, but it's still like 9%. It's still too early. It's a lot of things to do. We understand that clearly the future is for neobanks, which will be basically the aggregation of the all financial features. And for us as investors, it's important to identify whether somebody is pitching us the feature which can be clearly and easily added to them offering of the neobank, or it's like standalone opportunity and standalone business. So that's why fintech, insurtech is not our major vertical now, but we are still looking for interesting like platform solutions in Web3 DeFi. Yeah, these are several companies in our portfolio. One with them is Fintech Farm, which actually is scaling their neobank offering to 50 other geographies. And this is an interesting way to scale the neobank product globally. Yeah, so another interesting mega trend is just to learn on your mistakes. So that's why we started in 2019 our iClub global community, which is now, we have more than 500 investors across 17 geographies, mostly Ukrainians. And the opportunity is to democratize venture asset class and to invest with a smaller ticket like 10,000 and onwards with us in all those locations. This is a new opportunity for people to learn by themselves. I mean, before, I mean, all this layer of consultants, I think is already like, it's over. This era is over. So important to learn by your mistakes yourself. And for us, the main like call to action for our iClub members is, I mean, they cannot bring their financial advisors or financial managers to the club. They have to learn themselves. If you don't have time, then don't do. I mean, because otherwise you will just lose money. So now it's time for everybody also to manage your own investments by yourself to learn. Otherwise, I mean, there is no way in the future. Yeah, and regarding the female founders, yeah, so we have the big organization with more than 5,000 females, mostly Ukrainian in our community, and also Central and Eastern Europe and former CIS, no Russia, no Belarus, and growing to 50,000. Now we have 27 chapters, we'll grow to 50 chapters mid of next year. And this is a huge force, the females in tech and business, which can join international business community. The idea is just, it's for free. It's free for females in tech and business. And they just can, I mean, use all the possible opportunities to travel on business, to get free tickets to a lot of different conferences in all the locations where we are present now, to exchange opportunities, to hire, to check, and not to make the mistakes just by checking with the network the profile and the quality of the leads and the contacts they would like to work or do business together. Yeah, so we have also our chapter in Zurich. We have our, in Switzerland, we will open in Lugano, and we are active now with 27 locations, will be 50, as I said, in mid of next year. So we're open to work with the corporates, corporations, tech businesses, and again, it's for free for all the females members of the community. It's a huge force. It's basically like a business quota. And final chapter regarding the future. So basically, the future is now. And biotechnology is a huge chapter, huge chapter. So these are our investments, and we started actually recently. We work with the top experts in the business, like Cambrian, Salt Biotech Fund, many others. Actually, Cambrian is like almost like unicorn in our portfolio, and iClub also invested there. The major sub-verticals are like the future of drugs, personalization of the drugs, the aging reversal, it's a couple of $100 billion, and all the verticals of uncurable disease. And one of each sub-verticals of an incurable disease is like multi-billion-dollar vertical. So just one disease, a rare disease, can be the multi-billion-dollar business, which is done when it's done well, and when we apply all in these subsectors, we apply clearly the artificial intelligence and collecting the data and tracking the data from day one for the next like 5, 10, or more years. If you just think that just sequencing, like gene sequencing, 20 years ago it was more than 1 billion, right? Now it's less than 1,000. So a lot of opportunities there, but you have to understand what you are doing and who are your partners in this venture. This is our one of our latest investment, the company which is helping to save the lives of hundreds of thousands kids which otherwise would not be born. Vitara, amazing tech. So it's artificial uretus, and this is something which have not existed like even last year ago. So these projects like that we like and we support. For example, also Gamito, which is helping for infertile females, and we have more than 180,000 registers infertile couples to get kids with 10 times less of antibiotics and hormonal therapies comparing to what we have now, and many other products will come. So this is also the future, which is interesting for us. Another big sub-vertical is also the new proteins, like producing the new proteins using the computational biology. One of the leading companies here is Proteinia. And they created the amazing platform of based on the computational biology. They create and they register molecules. Each of these molecule can be the start for the new startup in biotech. This is a big topic. So these are the major three verticals where we are considering our investments in biotech and using AI. Yeah, this is another trend. Here I will not talk a lot about this GPT, chat GPT, etc., but again, this is the opportunity. It's a pity that in the schools and universities it is forbidden, like my kids study in the US, and they do forbid them to use chat GPT, which is complete nonsense, actually. It reminds me the adoption of all the technologies back then, like when they started, like it's no. So now we have to change our mindset completely, and that's what we are doing. Yeah, a couple of companies also disrupting the big verticals. For example, the company iEscape, which we invested several years ago. Now they got the contracts from Marriott, Hilton, Air Force, US Army, etc. This massage, I tried it myself several times. Last time in Brooklyn, they have their R&D in Brooklyn like 2 days ago. Arrived today. Yeah. This is amazing. It's the quality, the quality of massage. It's like a top notch, right? So that's what we will be having in the future. So of course you cannot buy it by yourself now, but maybe in the future we can buy these tables and just enjoy and just imagine how many people in this industry will have to change, right? For other sub-verticals of the business, but not massage, right? So that's what is happening. Yeah. Robotic software, we discussed it, just moving quickly. So, and we also had our first investment in the space tech. So this company, Destinus, based on the propulsion technology. And this is the new verticals which are real and mostly connected with the space logistics and not something which will happen in 10, 20 years. This is for the big guys like Jeff Bezos, yeah, Elon Musk and others, but we would like to invest in more real things. So this is one of them. Actually, they are based in Lausanne, in Switzerland. Okay, so climate tech, it will be the next big topic for our Tia Ventures 4, not this one. And this is all amazingly interesting opportunities with a hell lot of different sub-verticals which might be evolving in the near, like 3, 5, 10 years. So Gropius is one of them, and we are slowly but surely moving to our next speaker. So this is about future trends. Just think over where the world is moving in the next 5, 10 years, and let's be smarter in choosing and supporting those talented founders and teams which are doing something like meaningful. Thank you so much, and with this I would like to invite our amazing company, Gropius. Brent is the co-founder of Gropius. And yeah, so they've built an amazing tech. Basically, it's Tesla for construction. And we have also another project supporting Ukraine, rebuilding Ukraine with Gropius and other technology companies. Brent, the stage is yours. And please, yeah, let us know, share your experience on Gropius. Thank you.